Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lucore Automotive. Obviously, we're not at Lucore Automotive today. We are at CIA Performance once again. This is the RX7 LS swap you just saw us finish up, and it is on the dyno today. We have the wizard, Eric Hargate himself, behind the wheel, and working the laptop, doing all of his tuning madness over here. And he's gonna do all of the making the bar graph stuff change. So, interesting machine. We hope you guys are excited to watch this. We are definitely excited to see it. Full day of dyno magic. Stay tuned. So we got Ben back there with Truman. Ben is the owner of this new little monster. If you haven't seen the previous videos of what this car has gone through over the past couple of months, you probably should go back and watch them. Ben had a little bit of an issue. The old motor tried to take itself apart, and so there's a brand new motor that's sitting inside of this thing. It is a Thompson Motorsports 5.3 based motor with AFR heads, and it is a very, very nicely done piece of machinery. The nice thing for us was most of this swap kit was already done, so we didn't have to re-engineer the wheel here, but we did have to put a new motor in it. So, as with all things, once you change a major component, in this case the entire motor, the entire tune needs to be looked over and make sure everything is good to go and make sure we're happy and healthy. Now this, interestingly, is going to become more of a track car than a daily driver vehicle. It is something that he wants to be able to take to mid-Ohio and be able to run around road courses. So, contrary to what a lot of people see on race car builds or high-end performance builds, this is not all about peak power. We don't want to make 700 wheel horsepower with this car. This is designed to be able to make good power for a long time and not come apart, because he's going to be driving the hell out of this thing. So, is it going to make 800 horsepower? No. If you're looking forward to that, don't watch this video. But it is going to make good power. It's going to make nice long power. And that's the exciting part about this. So as you can tell from the idle, it's really not that rough. Now, full disclosure, the cam that's in this is not crazy. It's also designed for a power adder that will be added later on down the road. That is currently not on the car. But one of the things we've discussed at length in previous dyno tuning videos is it's not all about what shows up on that screen. It's not all about the bar graph that we get. A lot of it is also about the data that we get. And that is what's really important about dyno tuning, is it allows us to make a plan for the future if we want to make more power. Time to make our last hit. Well, there we go. She's all tuned and ready to rock and roll. Ben, how you feel?
Hi. Yeah, it's great. I'm ready to go floor it and see how it feels. I had to break the engine in over the weekend. I had to put 500 city miles on it, which was a lot of work. You know, it took a lot of time. But yeah, and I had to drive it easy. You know, I was shifting below 3,500 RPM the whole time, which is really frustrating when you have all the money I spent on this. It's, you know, it's a race car, and
right.
And so I had to drive it slow, which was really frustrating. So now that it's tuned, I can drive it fast. I'm excited to see what it can do. and I'm excited to get it back on the track, but I have to wait all the way until May.
I know, timing is terrible.
Right, yeah, so, but it's all right, you know, it's running now, so I'm happy.
You can at least hit some car shows and some twisty roads, and
right.
You did at least get to enjoy some of the twisty turniness with the car, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I went through a whole bunch of roundabouts. I found my favorite spot. There's 4 roundabouts in a row. It's in Lewis Center. I would go through those when I was breaking in the motor. I went through those roundabouts so many times. You know, these you can just slowly accelerate up, you know, shifting below 3,500 RPM, get your speed up, and then you can take a roundabout really fast while still taking it easy on the engine. It's really hard on the tires and the suspension, but you're easy on the engine. So that's how I was able to have fun when I was breaking in the motor. So I would just blast through roundabouts, you know, and
low speed fun.
Right, yeah.
Where can I have the most fun at the lowest speed?
I was still pulling G's, but not accelerating. I was pulling G's turning.
There you go, lateral G's.
Right, lateral G's. So it was still fun, yeah.
Now, we did completely reset up the suspension that's underneath this thing. It is originally on its own original tie and coilovers that were done, but all of that has been adjusted. Everything is set up properly now, so this thing is ready to rock and roll. And Eric and I have talked a bunch of times in the past about these cars. It doesn't matter how much power you make if you don't put it down correctly, and if it's not usable power. Like if it's all way up at the top or it's all way at the bottom. Tuning wise, this car is much more set up now for drivability wise.
Oh yeah.
As well as Ben taking this thing out and misbehaving on the track.
Yes. Yeah, no. It's got a very nice curve to it. It's going to be fun to drive.
Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, we are able to discuss what we need to do next. What Ben needs to do next as far as to be able to make this more fun, make it more power.
Yep.
And we discovered a couple of weak points.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Pretty standard stuff. Throttle body, intake manifold. You can see where even though it's running speed density setup, the MAF sensor's still in there, so you can see where the MAF sensor started to flatten off.
Right.
You can also see the manifold pressure starting to drop as RPM went up, which means there's a restriction in the inlet somewhere. So this has a stock throttle body on it.
Right.
Even though it has a LS6 intake manifold, but the throttle body is still stock.
Right.
So that's a hindrance. The air intake system's actually fine. I don't see an issue with that, but
We just can't feed it correctly.
right.
So again, it's not necessarily all about the curves we've made, which we made good curves and everything looks pretty. We'll show you what those look like. But the really, really useful part is it teaches you more about how your car behaves and how you can get the best out of it. So if you make the most amount of power in a certain RPM range, that teaches you where to shift, where you want to drive the car. It's not always every single car that you want to run it out to redline. You don't make the most power at redline on most vehicles. In this case, it's the same thing. These are our curves. Does it make really good power basically out to redline? Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't necessarily have to run all the way out to redline because it makes great power here in the center. And it depends, again, as we were talking also, about your shift points based on what kind of racing you're doing can be different. If you're drag racing, get it back in that torque curve. Keep it in that max torque range at all times. So versus a lot of times when this thing's going to be on the track, it's going to be keeping it up in the higher revs, which is, this thing is going to be capable of doing either one of those two things either way. So now from here in, Ben's got a little bit of buying to do. Unfortunately, it means you can spend a little bit more money. But upgraded manifold, probably upgraded throttle body, maybe add a power adder, and then go from there. So this will not be the last time you see this vehicle. I'm sure he has some more fun in store for this thing. Yeah. Probably before it even hits the track, I would imagine he'll probably have those upgrades done.
Yeah,
so.
probably.
So there you go. Again, big thanks to our folks over here at CIA Performance, Eric, all the whole crew over here.
Yep.
You've seen Eric here a bunch of times. Everything we ever do, we always bring it over here. Ben, thank you very much, sir, for allowing us to work on your vehicle and bring this thing back to life. We're going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. It's not the fastest RX-7 in the world, but it's definitely one of the prettiest. And I know you're going to hate me for this, but it's better. It's better with an LS in it. It's just better. Make sure you click on the subscribe button so you can see this and other builds that we do. Make sure you drop us a comment. Let us know if I'm an idiot, if you like what this thing is, if you have some suggestions, comments, whatever. Put it in the comments below. Click on the like button so YouTube actually knows you pay attention to us. And we'll see you in the next project. See ya. Say that again?
I'm not going to go any higher than 150 shot of nitrous.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's on film.
Okay.